Hello, thank you for watching this grant writing workshop for the New Mexico Crime Victims Reparation Commission's Federal Fiscal Year 2024 VOCA Victim Assistance Continuation Grant. My name is Lourdes McKenna, the VOCA Grant Administrator here at the Crime Victims Reparation Commission, CVRC. We are pleased to present the Federal Fiscal Year 2024 Victims of Crime Act Victim Assistance Continuation Solicitation for currently funded subrecipients. This solicitation does not support new programming or additional funding requests. In this grant writing workshop, we will be going through the solicitation, reviewing components of the solicitation, and navigating web grants to assist you as providers of services to victims of violent crime in the state of New Mexico on how to submit a continuation application. The solicitation can be found in several places. It has been uploaded to our CVRC website, and it is attached to the funding opportunity and web grants, which we will be going through today. As you can see, we have the solicitation here, and we will be going through this document as well as demonstrating how to submit an application in the web grants portal. As I go through the solicitation, I will highlight some of those pieces that people may have questions about. You may want to print out the solicitation and highlight sections, or in Adobe, highlight the text and make notes on the solicitation. The first thing is to be sure to note the due date for your application. Applications are due Monday, August 21st, 2023. Mark this on your calendar and set reminders. I would suggest you give yourself 2 days before the due date to get it submitted in the web grant system, just to make sure there are no technology issues that you run into. Don't wait until the last minute to hit the submit button. We have a table of contents that outlines the entire solicitation. You can go through this if you're looking for specific sections of the solicitation. The purpose of this funding is year 2 of the VOCA Victim Assistance Continuation Funding. As many of you know, there has been a reduction in the Crime Victim Fund allocation that has resulted in reduced funding to states and territories, and this has impacted our state as well. In order to maintain the stability of these funds, when initial awards were given for federal fiscal year 23, we guaranteed allocation amounts for 2 years. This solicitation is for the second year of that funding level. In years 3 and 4, the allocation will be reduced by 50%. The sequence of event timeline has important dates for you to be aware of. The issuance of this continuation RFP was Tuesday, July 25th. This grant writing workshop will be posted by Friday, July 28th. New users in the web grant system must register by Thursday, August 17th. Within the web grants portal, agencies are able to ask questions related to this RFP and the application process. We will go over how to do that once we are in the web grant system. All questions must be submitted by Friday, August 18th, and the last question will be answered at 10 a.m. that morning. Again, the submission of proposals are Monday, August 21st at 4 p.m. Please note the time of day on the 21st that applications are due. We will then seek approval from our CVRC commission, and letters of approvals with special conditions will be sent to subrecipients on Friday, September 1st. Final executed awards will be emailed on September 25th for an award period start date of October 1st. Signed contracts must be uploaded into the web grant system by Monday, October 16th. I'm not going to read through every single piece of the solicitation, but we highly encourage you to read through the solicitation in its entirety. The solicitation starts with, again, the term of the award, definition of terminology, background information, and then some explanation of events. The contract start date, again, is October 1st of 2023. All applicants under the solicitation must have a unique entity ID generated by SAM.gov. The Unique Entity ID, or UEI, is a 12-character alphanumeric ID, which replaces the DUNS numbers that we had previously used. All applicants also must be registered in the SAM.gov, that's the System for Award Management System. As you prepare to submit your application, please be sure to have the agency's UEI and that the SAM.gov registration has not expired. The solicitation talks about incurring costs and disclosure of content. All agencies must understand and agree to abide by the federal regulations. These include equal opportunity compliance, civil rights and non-discrimination compliance, as well as accessibility and language access. Every agency must have an accessibility and language access plan. The solicitation then highlights some of the underserved populations. It talks about fraud, waste, and abuse, and some of the certification requirements that are required for programs and projects across the state of New Mexico. VOCA victim assistance programs do require a match requirement. At this time, we know that there have been global match waivers that have been offered by the Office for Victims of Crime due to the public health pandemic. We are requesting that agencies identify match and provide match funding within their federal fiscal year 24 application. Any match waivers will be communicated through the award process. If you are a tribal entity, you are not required to submit match under the federal guidelines. Match is 20% of the total budget. The way in which you calculate that is you take the federal funds that you are requesting, you divide that by 4, and that gives you the match amount, so that is 20% of the total program costs. It is mandated for the Victims of Crime Act funded agencies to have volunteers that assist in the delivery of services or that provide eligible VOCA victim assistance volunteer work within your organization. We know that that has been challenging for some agencies during the pandemic to get those volunteers. However, it is required that all funded agencies have a volunteer program and are utilizing volunteers to assist with providing those victim assistance volunteer activities. Subrecipients must comply with all federal rules and regulations regarding the Victim of Crime Act programming. This includes federal financial guidelines from the Office for Victims of Crime, the Office of the Chief Financial Officer, as well as the Department of Justice and the New Mexico Crime Victims Reparation Commission. Agencies who apply for this funding must adhere to ensuring programmatic and financial data are kept in accordance with your approved program, and that your agency has the ability to submit the necessary financial documents as well as the required statistical documents and information to support the delivery of services. Agencies must ensure that services are kept confidential and that you adhere to those confidentiality and privacy standards. VOCA victim assistance funding is intended to enhance, expand, or sustain already federally funded programs and projects. It is not intended to supplant any state funding. The solicitation talks about audits. It is a requirement that you have an agency audit. If you do not reach the OMB 133 Uniform Guide for the $750,000 single audit requirement, we still require that your agency have an audit in which auditors have tested the funding that is received by our office per the Code of Federal Regulations. The cost of an audit is not an item that you can include within your agency budget. We cannot use federal funds or matching funds to support the costs related to an audit. However, it is a requirement for your agency to have an audit. Let's review the training requirements. The first one listed is the OVC TTAC training. All staff providing direct services in a funded agency must complete this free online OVC TTAC training, and all modules must be completed within 3 months of the hire date. It is also required that this training be renewed or retaken every 3 years. One of the things that we see is agencies put training in their application, but they do not include them within their primary project components. I would encourage you to review your primary project components and ensure that you are including training within those components. The solicitation goes through allowable costs and unallowable costs, as well as those expressly unallowable costs that are prohibited. Next are the sections that discuss the grant application and the required information and documents. I will go to the web grant system. That is nmcvrcgrants.com, and walk through the system. I will show you how to download the solicitation and complete the application. I'll also show you how to ensure that multiple people can have access to the application that you were working on before the deadline due date of 4 p.m. on August 21st, 2023. On this login page, this is for individuals in the agency that are not currently registered in web grants, but will be assisting with the application, can register as a new user. It is this yellow button. If you are already registered in web grants, you would log in here. If you forgot your user ID, all you need to do is click on this forgot user ID and use the email that you registered with. If you forgot your password, you can do the same thing with this forgot password link. You would enter your user ID and it will email you a new password. I'm going to log in under our testing account so I can demonstrate to you what it will look like on your end to put together a continuation application under this solicitation. So as I log into the system, this is what your dashboard would look like. You can see funding opportunities. So I'm going to go ahead and select funding opportunities. You can see we have a test solicitation that we use to test our system and work in our system. But below this is the posted Victims of Crime Act Continuation Federal Fiscal Year 24 funding opportunity. You can see the due date here is August 21st, 2023 at 4 p.m. So we will select this funding opportunity. And this funding opportunity will show you the project start and end date, October 1st of 2023 through September 30th of 2024. The award notifications will go out September 1st of 2023. There's an introduction and purpose here. This is the same information that we walked through in the solicitation. The sequence of event timeline is noted here in the web grant system. Here is a section for attachments of documents that may be useful to you in completing your application. The Federal Assurances Form, the SFLLL, which is the lobbying form, and here is the VOCA Continuation RFP that you can download. There's also a section for useful website links. So the New Mexico Crime Victims Reparation Commission website link is here. The link for this recorded webinar will be posted here. And then there's a link to download the SFLLL form directly from the internet. Any questions that are posed through the question component of the web grant system will be posted here with the answers. You can see we've already had a couple of questions and answers posted. As we go back up to the top of this page, if you're wondering whether somebody else in your organization has already started the application for this continuation solicitation, this will give you a list of the applications for your agency for this solicitation. As you can see, we've been testing this application to ensure that the agencies have no issues with submitting it. The first blue button here is the Ask a Question. So if you have a question regarding the solicitation or the application process, you can ask your question here. Questions will come to CVRC, and once our team has reviewed and answered the question, it will be posted for all to see. So please be careful what you post. The copy existing application feature in web grants is intended for organizations that have applied for the selected program area in the past and wish to start their application with information pre-populated from previous applications. As this is a continuation application and all agencies submitted applications for federal fiscal year 23, you should use the copying existing application button to copy the application that was previously submitted. So we will copy an existing application, and then it will provide you a list of applications to choose which one you would like to copy. So we will choose our federal fiscal year 23 application that was submitted. So we'll select this radio box, go back up to the top, and copy application. This will then take you to the list of components for the application. The first component is general information. This is where you can add individuals to work on the application. If you click on general information, select edit form, you can change the title of your application. So I will change this to Federal Fiscal Year 24 VOCA Victim Assistance Continuation Application. And anybody from your agency that is registered in the web grant system will be listed here. You can select from these individuals. Once you've completed this, you will save the form. The next section is the grant application. As we click into this grant application, again, you will edit the form. And all agencies should change the project type from competitive to continuation. All of the information on this page will have copied over from your federal fiscal year 23 application. Please take the time to ensure and update all of the information. The SAM expiration date, make sure that your SAM registration has not expired. And this is where you will enter your 12-digit alphanumeric UEI. Your project summary should stay the same. If your finance person has changed, the authorized official has changed, or the person who is responsible for reporting civil rights findings, please make sure that you update that information. Once you have reviewed this information, you will save this form. If it is complete, you may mark it as complete. You will see that the green check mark appears under the completed column. The next section is the budget. The budget will be the initial budget of federal fiscal year 23. Changes made throughout the year will not be reflected. Please make amendments and update the budget as needed. We will go to our budget. And I did not have any data, but I will add a new person on the VOCA award. This is my victim advocate, a salary of $30,000 and an hourly rate of $20 per hour. This person will be working half-time on VOCA, but half-time VOCA funded and half-time match funded for the entire year. And so I will put in my federal amount and my match amount. Once I've entered all the information, I will save this data. And you can see it's listed here. If you have pre-populated personnel from your federal fiscal year 23 application and the information needs to be updated, you can simply select that row when it's highlighted. And again, it will take you to this screen so that you can make the necessary updates. Benefits should be listed by person, and all benefits should be included in one line item. So let me fill in my information. We are paying for this employee FICA, SUTA, and retirement. The gross for the year is $3,000. Again, this person is split between federal funding and match funding for the entire year. And so we will enter those amounts and save this information. Again, for personnel benefits, list each staff person on one individual line and include the total personnel benefits. Benefit costs should be itemized either in the description or down here in the budget justification area. Benefits may include FICA, Medicare, Social Security, workers' compensation, retirement, and unemployment. And then you will continue to go through and enter your data or update data for your budget. At the bottom, you will be able to see your totals by category. Once your budget is complete, select one of these orange boxes to mark it as complete. Please be sure to utilize this budget justification field to note any explanations or any information that will be useful to CVRC as they review the application. Hourly rates are normally calculated at the annual salary divided by 2,080 hours per year. If the agency is using a different calculation, please note that in the budget justification. The federal hours and match hours should be hours per week. So again, please make sure that you are reviewing those and updating those as needed. We will mark our budget as complete. And again, you can see now it's been marked as complete. The primary project components, again, will copy over directly from the federal fiscal year 23 application. If there's required information and you try to mark it as complete, you will get an error message. So I have not completed my primary project components. So I will put these in now. Whatever your goal is, what is the measurable objective that you will be using to see how you are meeting your goal? And then what is the activity that you will be doing to meet that goal? Once you've updated, you can save that information. And I need to complete my second implementation. So this is the same goal, but I have a second measurable objective that I will be using for the same goal. And save that information. I can then mark this as complete. The next section are the standard conditions. These must be reviewed and signed by the authorized official. Please make sure that you edit this form to update the date for these standard conditions. So we will approve those today. And save this form. Once that is done, I will mark this as complete. And I have one more section, the additional documentation required. I will select this section. And again, it will bring over all of the documents that I previously submitted. It is important for the agency to review these documents and provide updated documents as necessary. The assurances and certification form will be uploaded here. I can see that last year I uploaded my job descriptions in this component in the wrong place. So I will delete that. Yes, I want to delete that attachment. And then I will select or click on the named attachment to open up the attached file box. So I will select my file. These are my signed assurances. And save the file. So now I can see I have my assurances. Again, for each component, please go through and make sure that you have updated documents and that they are in the correct order. Again, I uploaded my organizational chart in the wrong line or row. So I would delete that and make sure that job descriptions, contracts, and resumes for all my current staff on the VOCA budget are included. The latest agency audit, the approved agency budget for this fiscal year, the agency funding by source. So this should be the last 3 years of agency funding by source. The next should be a spreadsheet that lists all of the agency staff and their funding source. All staff and their funding source can either be by percentage, by dollar amount, or by hours. But we want to make sure that that is submitted as an Excel spreadsheet. Your limited English proficiency plan and accessibility plan will be submitted in this row. If those are two separate documents, you may upload those as separate documents by using this other additional documentation row. We will need an organizational chart for all agencies, and then the disclosure of lobbying activities form will be uploaded in this section. For our nonprofits, we also are looking for your bylaws and articles of incorporation, your proof of nonprofit status, and a current list of board members that contains names, terms, and contact information. Once you have all of your required documentation uploaded, you can mark this as complete. This is telling me that I'm missing my SFLLL form. So let me go in and upload that. I'll just select that same file. And this is my lobbying disclosure form. Save. And then I can mark as complete. Oh, I'm still missing a document. Let me see what I am missing. I'm not sure what document I am missing. I will have to look through that. But I will go back to previous. And at the top, you can see that it allows you the different components if you wanted to move back and forth. As I go back to my application list, I can see my additional documentation required is not complete. Therefore, it will not allow me to submit the application. Once everything is complete, there will be an additional button up here that says Submit Application. A couple of things that I would recommend is, again, go back to your additional documentation required and look to make sure that each file and file name are correct and that they are in the correct row. Again, go back and review all information before you hit that submit button. Once you hit submit, it's going to say, are you sure? And then it will submit your application. Save this proof of submission, print it out, PDF it, take a picture with your camera phone, write the application information down, whatever it is to collect that information to make sure that your application has been submitted within the system. Again, if you go back to your application on the very first page, you should be able to see the application listing at the top, and it will provide you a list of the applications that you have submitted or if they are still in editing. Let me go back here to funding opportunities, select the posted one. And again, I can see the applications. This is the one we were just working on. It is still in editing. It has not yet been submitted. We hope that we have made this application process as simple as possible. We know that submitting an application is complicated and it requires a lot of time and effort and activity on behalf of the organization and multiple people within the agencies. We have been mindful and thoughtful during the solicitation period to try and not overwhelm the agencies. We hope this webinar provides helpful information to assist you with getting your application in by August 21st. Please utilize the Ask a Question section. We cannot answer questions directly to you during the solicitation process, as this violates the procurement process. We want to be fair and ensure that everyone has the same information. Please read through the solicitation. We hope that this grant writing workshop and how to submit an application is helpful to you in this process, and we look forward to seeing the continuation application submitted. Thank you for your time and for all of the effort that you have put into providing services to victims of crime in the state of New Mexico. Thank you.